Which of the following pairs of lines are parallel? What do we know about this word parallel? Well, that means the lines never touch each other. It also means they have the same gradient. They're running on the same slope, and that's why they'll never cross each other or never intersect, because they have the same slope. So an example is two lines that look like this. They have the same slope, the same rise over run, and they are parallel. Now we can read the gradient from a line when we have it in the form y equals mx plus c. And the gradient, when it's in this form, is the coefficient of the x term. That's our gradient. So our lines have to be in this form for us to be able to read their gradient. Let's have a look at our first pair of lines. Y equals 2x plus 3 and y equals 2x minus 3. We know our gradient is the coefficient of the x term, 2x here and 2x here. So because these lines have the same gradient, therefore they are parallel. They're parallel because they have the same gradient. Let's look at our next pair. Y equals negative 2x plus 4 and y equals negative half x plus 4. Now these two lines have the same y-intercept, they don't have the same gradient. Negative 2 is not the same as negative half. So because they don't have the same gradient, they are not parallel lines. Therefore, they are not parallel. Let's have a look at our last pair of equations. Y equals 5x minus 4 and 5x plus y equals 2. Now there's a trick in this one. Have a look at our second equation. That's not written in the general form of the equation of a line. And so we can't read the gradient straight from this equation yet. We have to rearrange it into this form, y equals mx plus c, before we can read the gradient. It looks like they both have a gradient of 5, but that's not necessarily the case. They may be different once we rearrange them. So if we rearrange the second equation, 5x plus 2y, we need the 5x to be over here with the 2 instead of with the y. So we have we minus 5x from both sides of the equal sign. On the left they cancel, and on the right we're left with just y. Then on the right we have minus 5x plus 2. Now that this is in the general form for the equation of a line, have a look at its gradient. It's minus 5, whereas this line has a gradient of positive 5. So that's quite tricky, but they're not parallel. This one has a positive 5 gradient and this one has a negative 5 gradient. So because they're not exactly the same, these two lines are not parallel. You've got to make sure that your equation is in the general form y equals mx plus c before you can read the gradient from that equation.